Hello peoples, ignore the mess in the background. It's late at night and I just need to get this update done and out the way because I want to. But basically I'm 5 weeks today, sort of, maybe, kind of. Based off my conception date, I'm 5 weeks today, and I was doing conception date based off like what day I ovulated. I'm 5 weeks today, but my doctor, who I saw on Wednesday, is going off LMP, in which case I was 5 weeks a few days ago, and I'm closer to 6 weeks. We're going to continue doing these on Sunday, at least until I get my dating scan and get a proper date, and then we might change it, we might not. We'll see how it goes. It's Sunday today. On Wednesday I had my first doctor's appointment with my GP, which was exciting because she helped me in my trying to conceive journey. I went through a fertility specialist, so she thought I was going to continue with them through my pregnancy, and then I was like, actually I kind of want to go see you. Are you okay with that? And she was like so happy. She was like, yes, I would be honoured to take you through your pregnancy, sort of thing. And she organised blood tests, ultrasounds, made sure I was on the right medications, I was having the right amount of folic acid, stuff like that, as well as organising a vaginal swab for, I think, chlamydia and like those sorts of STIs that can affect baby. And then I also had to pee in a cup to check for UTIs and other STIs and stuff like that. She organised all that. We had a nice chat. She went over, don't eat this, don't do this, blah blah blah, which I remembered everything from last pregnancy anyway. I had a cry sometime during the week because I went to cook eggs for the first time in ages, because I've been meaning to cook eggs for so long and I just haven't, and I finally cooked eggs and they were the perfect runniness, and then I had to put them back on the stove top because I realised I can't have runny eggs anymore. So thanks for that, salmonella, and I really should know all the different bugs you can get from undercooked eggs because I study it. But do you think I can remember? No. That is one of my biggest symptoms. I swear this time around, like last time with Hayden, my symptoms were all really physical. This time they are so mental. Like the mental symptoms are so over the top. Mood swings. Poor Luke. Like my mood swings have reasons, and we've been fighting a little bit lately. But at the same time, they're extreme for they're very quick to get to the broad end of the spectrum, if that makes sense. And also, I have never really cried in a TV show or a movie. I think there's been like 3 times in my life I have gotten a couple of tears from a TV show or movie. Pretty sure 2 of them were my last pregnancy. So, and 1 was breastfeeding. So very hormonal, and they're the only times I've cried. I do remember, I'm pretty sure 1 was a Call the Midwife episode, another one was Heartland. Both very good TV shows and I recommend. But this week, a couple of days ago, I can't even remember when, I was watching Virgin River. They just brought out a new season for that on Netflix, and I was watching that and I started crying, and I thought, wow, I'm actually crying, and I thought it'd just be those couple of tears I sometimes get. No, I bawled my eyes out, and it was like one big bawling eyes out moment, and then a couple of minutes later they'd mention something and it'd go again, and I was like, what the hell is wrong with me? It was very sad. I'm not going to say what happened because spoilers, but it was very much worth watching. But if you're very emotional, have lots of tissues. And then also my baby brain is like already extreme. Other than the fact that I keep forgetting like basic English and words, and like I'll try to say a sentence and I'll just like somehow forget multiple words in it but still put the sentence together, and it makes no sense to anyone else. But I don't even notice that I said something weird. Just other than the way I've been talking and forgetting how to speak my own language. Today I had a massive freak out. I was at work, retail, store, chocolate shop, and I was at work and someone gave me cash and I had to give them 50 cents change. It cost something and 50 cents and they gave me a full $1. So I had to give them 50 cents change. I went and gave them their 50 cents, and then I literally started to like stop them because I thought I'd given them the wrong change, and I thought, oh, I need to give them 10 cents, not 50 cents, because there's only 60 cents in a dollar. I literally, like, you know how there's 60 cents in a second? I mean, oh my god, 60 cents in a minute? No, 60 seconds in a minute. This is what I mean. There's 60 seconds in a minute, and for some reason I thought there was 60 cents in a dollar. And I literally almost, like, I started to stop her, and then I was like, wait, no, never mind, just ignore me, I'm having a bad brain day. Fast forward to tonight, Luke was showering Hayden. I went into Hayden's room, this is at Nana's house. Went into Hayden's room to get his clothes ready, his PJs. I laid out his PJs, I had his singlet ready, and then I was like, oh, his singlet's really cold. So I stuffed, it's still here. Oh my god. So I stuffed his singlet down my shirt to warm it up, and then I laid on his onesie where it was spread, I almost put that back, where it was spread out on his change mat. And then Luke brought him in, Luke's aunt showed up, all this stuff happened. I got him changed, and I was like, where did singlet go? I swear I got a singlet out, but it's just vanished. And then I was like, oh well, it's only 11 degrees tonight, he's in a really thick onesie, and we have the heater on most nights anyway when it's cold. So I was like, it's fine, he'll be fine, he'll probably end up here. Like, last night we accidentally turned the heater up too much, and he got hot, and I had to take his PJs off. Flash forward like half an hour, maybe even more, and me and Luke are in the car, and I was just like, what is this thing? Like, there was just something bugging me about my shirt under my jumper. I was like, there's this extra fabric flap, and I don't get where it's coming from. And then I pulled out the singlet, and I was like, you serious? How did I not remember that there was a singlet in my jumper? And then I put it back, and just then I didn't even realise it was in there. I'm just like, oh my god. Oh, but yeah, and it's just like, the mental things are very extreme already this time around. As for the rest of my physical symptoms, I have started having a little bit of nausea, just a tiny bit. It's not bad. It like sort of flared up yesterday to the worst it's been, but then it's still like, I sort of just felt like motion sick. It wasn't super bad. So I'm dreading the future, but at the same time, I'm really enjoying the fact that I don't feel like throwing up 24/7 like I did two years ago, 2 and a bit years ago. I haven't had reflux yet. I haven't had very many symptoms at all, except the mental stuff, the nausea, and I have had cramping. Again, not as bad as Hayden. Especially on Thursday, I thought it was, I don't know what happened, but on Thursday I went to work. I get up about 5, just after 5. Have breakfast, leave about 6, and get to work for 7. So I got up, had my, I think I had a little bit of a sore tummy. I thought I was just hungry. Had my breakfast and got halfway to work and was like starting to cramp, and it was like a bit more than a period cramp. It was really painful cramps. It got really bad at work. I was like unable to fully stand up. I was hunched over, trying to act normal, trying to get through the task I was doing at the time. I honestly was about to leave and go home so many times, but my boss currently is going through a lot in his personal life. Most people's lives pale in comparison to what he's going through at the moment, and work itself is getting really busy at the moment. So I was like, no, I've got to get this done for him. Even if I go home, I need to finish this task. And then it was like I'd get halfway through this task and he'd ask me to do the next task, and then I'd get halfway through that, and then it was just like I had kept having things I needed to do before I let myself go home. And finally I sort of pushed my way through it. I got through it a little bit. I wasn't working to my full capacity. I was really not well, but I got through it, and getting towards lunchtime I actually felt a lot better, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. I thought it was something I ate because it popped up so much after breakfast and then diminished as time went by, but I don't think it was something I ate. I think it was just the fact that I ate, because come lunch I had a meal and the pain came back again so bad, and it lasted for the rest of the day, which sucks. I feel like it wouldn't have happened if I had smaller meals more frequently. But on work days, I only get one break, 12:30 to 1, so I have to have a big meal first thing in the morning, and then a big meal at lunch to try and get me through to getting home around dinner time. Because if I don't get home till 5 because of traffic, so it's like there's no point having a snack when we have dinner at 6. Work days, not at the shop, but at the factory work days, I don't really have the option to snack throughout the day. I'm gonna have to think of something, even if I just keep like Belvita biscuits in my pocket or something to just chuck in and snack throughout the day. I'll figure it out, but for the moment I think that's what happened, and it hurt. So I have been cramping, and I have had cramps. Those were the worst, but I have had like period-like cramps and constipation-like cramps on and off. Constipation hasn't been too bad, but has been, my bowels have been slightly altered and different from how they were. But saying that, I was chronically constipated. I then got pregnant with Hayden, and pregnancy makes constipation even worse. So that was fun. It was bad when I was pregnant with Hayden. But once I had Hayden, I actually got like normal for the first time in my life. And I think I've been normal since. I don't know how much detail anyone wants to hear about this. That's fun, and it's gonna get worse, and I know it. But it started happening, and that's an update for you guys. Tired. I've been so tired, but then I've also been struggling to get proper sleep because Hayden's not been sleeping well for me. As I said, my doctor started me on the task of checking everything, making sure I'm healthy, and the first step in that was getting my pathologist stuff done. So I was meant to do it on Thursday, but I was working, so it was just too hard. So on Friday, I got up, had to fast, so I just had water all night. I didn't have any breakfast. I almost forgot to pee in a cup, so that was bad. Luckily, I remembered halfway through and still had my like pee cup that I used for my pregnancy tests, clean obviously, in the toilet. So I peed in that and then had to pour it into the sample cup. It was bad because I had the sample cup on the floor while I was getting the lid for it, and I'd asked Luke to get me a pen so I could write the date and time on it, and he got me a pen and he opened the door while the cup was still on the floor and splashed pee everywhere. So that was fun to clean up and disgusting, and I did not feel like that day, and that should have hinted me in on how bad my day was going to be. And she goes, "Oh, you must be afraid of needles, aren't you?" And I was like, no. Literally been getting blood tests the last 2 months, multiple times a week, and I've had hundreds of blood tests in my life since I was a kid. I've been getting blood tests on my own. I've never been scared of needles. I've given myself needles. I remembered right after the fact, but I can't remember the words now, but she basically said I was mentally blocking my blood from flowing because I was scared of needles, and next time I came back to her to remind her so we could keep my mind off it, and I'm sitting here like, no, you just couldn't get the needle in the vein. Like, I'm not scared of needles, that's the thing. Like, it's just frustrating to me because with my endo and all the issues I had, I was misdiagnosed for so long, and I was always told in the end that it was all in my head. So now when I am pretty certain, I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty certain it was her making a mistake, and she blamed it on my mental blocks or just my mentalness. That made sense, not? That frustrated me a lot. Like, I was perfectly fine with the fact that she just was struggling to get a vein. Like, everyone has a bad day. My veins could have been good at evading her. Like, they could have been slipping away from the needles. Like, it's fine. But don't ever put what could be your mistake and blame someone else's mental, can't think of the word, baby brain. So that's fun. Anyway, if that makes sense. So that was frustrating. I did all that, I've submitted all that, and I have the review for that this Wednesday upcoming. And this Thursday, right after, I have my first ultrasound, which is a dating scan, but it's also to check my left ovary, because at my last scan, which was during my ovulation induction cycle, and to check how many follicles I had and stuff like that, I had a weird cyst. It was suspicious and was very early, whatever it was, and very small, but at the same time it was worrying and concerning and definitely needs to be checked. Thursday is Luke's birthday. It's also our first ultrasound, and I'm simultaneously terrified and super excited. This bug is too perfect. We got our big fat positive on our 5-year anniversary, and now our first ultrasound is Luke's birthday, which I had no choice but to schedule it for that day. I'm worried about Murphy's Law, but at the same time I'm like, nothing has ever gone this right before. Surely it's going to keep going right. Surely. I'm just really hopeful, but I'm also really scared because, like, if we go and there's no heartbeat or no fetus, or the fetus is in the wrong place and it's ectopic, or, you know, all those fears are running through my mind. And then on top of those fears that I'm trying to diminish and keep down is the fears of what if this thing on my ovary is something sinister. My aunt had really bad cancer, and I think it started as ovarian cancer, and I'm just like slightly worried about that. I'm also worried about twins because I can't possibly have fraternal twins because there was only one egg that was mature enough to ovulate, but I can have identical twins, which are genetic in my family, and there's a whole non-scientific theory that they skip a generation, and that would mean it lands on my generation because it skipped my dad and it's now my turn. So that's slightly terrifying to me, but we'll see. Like, it's very, very unlikely. And then Wednesday I had a doctor's appointment and she dated me differently. Instead of being 4 weeks, 3 days, I was suddenly 4 weeks, 6 days, and 3 days just disappeared and went by super quick in literally an instant. So I think that's why the week feels like it's gone so fast. Anyway, I'm possibly 5 weeks, 4 days, possibly 5 weeks. Luke's going to be annoyed I did this without him, but he fell asleep in Hayden's room, and we had a big argument last night because he was so tired that it was really hard to wake him up. He fell asleep with Hayden and I went and got him, and it took like 2 times getting him to actually get him. Recording has stopped. But basically there was a big kerfuffle between us because he honestly did not know Hayden was even in the bed, let alone that I'd already had a conversation with him about it and gotten up and gotten Hayden and brought him into the bed, and he'd been in there for a while. So we had a massive fight about that. I think it's because he was so tired. He just slept way deeper, and we're booking in an appointment for that because, like, all our major fights are because he's been asleep and I've been unable to wake him, or he's been asleep and I've thought he's awake and it's caused confusion and arguments and stuff like that. I don't even know who you're meant to see or what you're meant to do, but I just feel like everyone goes to doctors if they can't get enough sleep, and they get like sleeping pills and stuff, and it's like Luke is the opposite. He sleeps too deeply that I can't wake him up. We'll just go to a GP and see if there's anything they can do or point us in the right direction. But yeah, basically I'm not waking him up again. I just want him to get as much sleep as possible because he has work early tomorrow and I have a day off by some complete accident. I thought I had my fertility specialist appointment that took 8 months to get this Monday. I usually work at the factory Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I now have unis on Thursdays, so I was switching it to Mondays, Tuesdays. My appointment I've been waiting for 8 months was on Monday, so I was like to my boss, so sorry, I know we're switching to Mondays and Tuesdays, but can I get this first Monday off because this appointment has been so long in the waiting. And then I got a call basically saying that the appointment isn't necessary anymore because it was just with the fertility specialist to talk about getting pregnant, and I'm now pregnant. So the appointment got cancelled, and honestly lucky it did because I completely mixed the weeks up and it wasn't actually till next week. Like the week after I got the date off. So that would have been awkward. It's fine. He's already called in someone else, so I'm just taking the day off. But belly time. And I've actually been really bloated today, but I think it's gone down now, thank goodness. But I was like at work, leaning against the bench doing stuff, and I was just like, wow, I've got a nice pot belly sticking out from all this bloat. Also, maternity pants and clothes are amazingly comfortable. I'm already living in them. I just love them. Like early pregnancy, your stomach just gets bloated and it's just uncomfortable having tight pants on your abdomen. As early as 4 weeks, I was back to living in my maternity pants just because they're so much more comfortable sitting on your bloated, sore stomach. Okay, yeah, my bloat is like vanished. So yeah, see, these maternity pants are elastic here, so they stretch out like that. Here's my belly. It is a bit like this is sucking in as much as possible, so there's definitely a bump that's nice and solid and used to be there. I used to be able to suck that in. But yeah, so here's my 5-week pregnant belly. Yeah, it's so solid. It's not actually caused by baby, it's just caused by bloat. I think I can feel my uterus. I don't want to press too hard because it's still early. But like, I had a little pressing around because I just wanted to make sure that there was no large lumps there because of the cyst thing going on. And I was also checking my constipation status because I do that quite often. It's kind of weird. I was pressing around and I'd just been to the toilet, so it wasn't my bladder, but I can feel like something about yay, not even, but like slightly smaller than a golf ball, yay big, hard, roundish, just the top of it, right down in my pelvis. And I'm like, is that my uterus? I guess we'll find out. I'll keep feeling it every week or so and see if it grows into my uterus. But yeah, I think I can feel my uterus. That's it. Thanks for watching. If you like this video and followed through to the end, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe to see future updates, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye peoples!